All right, let's go, guys. So, again, Sarin Vaduva here from the Ottawa Home Group, and I'm here with my boy, Kyle Miller. He's an Ottawa mortgage agent, and we really love this guy because we've been watching him for a while. He's got great experience, great knowledge, and honestly, we love his videos. They're really super valuable and honest, and man, I'm really excited to have you here and get a chance to actually sit down and hear what you have to say and get some information from you, because I got a lot of questions. So,
well, that's pretty much 90% of my day is answering questions. So this is going to be fun. I'm excited to be here. If you give me a podium to talk, like a forum to talk,
yeah,
I will talk. So we're going to be all right there.
Well, this guy, at our sales meetings for our brokerage, he usually comes up and gives a whole spiel, and so he's no stranger to talking to people, as you can tell. But yeah, guys, today what we're talking about is we're talking about mortgages, real estate, for buyers, sellers, renters, investors, or just people standing on the sideline. People are looking to refinance, what's going on in the economy. But keep this in mind, this is advice based on our personal experiences, on things that are going on the ground right now. We both work at this full time, probably more than full time. We're very passionate about what we do, and in today's market, we got to work twice as hard, to be honest, to kind of keep up with all the different news and what's going on. I've been a realtor now for about 14 years. I'm also an investor. I'm a landlord, but most importantly, I'm a human being, and my goal here is just to give value to people. But please take the advice we give you with because it might not be suitable for you guys or your personal situation, and get your own advice. So to make sure that it makes sense with what we're telling you. And Kyle, what's your experience in this field? Can you tell them a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I've been working in the mortgage industry now for just over 16 years is what I've been doing, and we've probably funded close to well over half $500 million worth of mortgages.
Is that a billion? Did you say billion?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah, $500 to $600 million is where we should be now.
Wow.
It's grown up in this industry, grown up here in Ottawa, so I understand how this stuff works. And I think the biggest thing is what you said about, asking questions is just that. If there's one thing I know for sure is that when I started to now, there's a deal I cannot do this year that I could do last year. And that's happened every single year that I've been in business. If there's one thing that's constant in the mortgage industry, and it doesn't feel like it, because when you sign for your 5-year fixed, you're like, okay, I just got to pay the bill now.
Yep.
But for us that are in it, there's a material change year after year that messes things up. So a deal we could do last year, we can't do this year.
Okay.
And 2 years ago, it's different than now.
Yeah.
So that's the very, very consistent thing.
Yeah.
So it's good to ask those questions because, again, Uncle Bob that got his mortgage is not the same as what you're going to get ever.
It's true. Well, I guess everyone's situation is totally different, right? And as you said, like if we look at a couple years ago to now, the markets, it's like we're in a whole new planet, a whole new world. Even I feel it, the buyer and seller sentiment, how they feel about real estate has changed, right? I don't know about you, but even if you don't own a home or you're not in real estate, you got a roller coaster ride of what could happen in the real estate market, right? Like if you watch what's going on, people we're on their total highs in 2021, and now we see doom and gloom and sad faces kind of everywhere. From what I'm seeing, it's like the whole shift changed. It's like night and day.
Yeah, and it's a thing too of that as Canadians, inherently, we are in love with real estate.
Yeah.
Like it's a borderline obsession.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It kind of runs our economy almost.
Well,
right?
that's the thing. Like, and if we're honest about it, like we don't make a lot of things, but we do transact in a lot of houses.
Yeah.
So if that's what it is, that's what it is.
Yeah.
But that's one of the big things. So it's always always at the top of every headline and every media outlet. There's something about real estate.
Yeah.
So, and which isn't a bad thing either, because that is the Canadian dream. That is the expectation. You will come, you will work, you will grow, you will work, and you will buy a home.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the disappointing parts.
Yeah.
Is that I think that sentiment's kind of changing.
Yeah.
I've got a 23-year-old at home, and he's looking to get into the market, and he's seeing his first bit of plight, if you will, of like, it's expensive out there. Like, yeah, dude, it is expensive out there. Like,
well,
so
100%. And I think I don't know if it's true or not, but I think we're some of the most expensive real estate in the world, right?
Well, in definitely several cities.
Yeah.
Like the GTA's up there, Vancouver's definitely still up there, even with their 20-25% drops in price, which is mind-boggling to think, but you can also accept it.
100%.
Montreal too, like they're all up there.
Yeah.
So we definitely are a statistic.
Yeah.
In world economics for that.
And when I meant like average, for Canada compared to like other countries, and I think it's part of what drives a lot of government, like new government policies, right? If we see a lot of news coming out from the government, it's usually geared towards helping buyers or builders, especially builders. I don't know why. The government loves builders. They're always helping the builders. They made all these changes recently, and I don't know about you. Well, let's just touch on it. The HST rebate that came out, right? And it's obviously, I don't think it had the effect that the government wanted to in regards to buyers and investors. I'm sure there was an uptick for sure of some transactions, but not to the extent, from what I've heard, that they were hoping it to be. And I feel that, imagine you bought a house, brand new house, a year ago, 2 years ago, right? And now that builder in the same neighborhood is offering a home, the same home, right, for 13% possibly cheaper.
Well, yeah.
I'd be so upset. I'd be pissed off. That's like a kick in the face.
And the other part of it too is that, like you say, like a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How about from April 28th to May 1st?
Oh yeah.
Right. If you signed your deal 5 days before, there's no going back.
There's no cooling. Well, that's the cooling period, right? I guess like.
Whatever's outside that. I mean, I remember we were talking
5 days ago. That even hurt even more. That's like, oh my God.
And I think the other problem with this too is that it's a direct. Not attack's not the word, but they're going at it from that, trying to get it from the supply side.
Yeah.
Which does make sense.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know that they're talking to the people with the boots on the ground about it.
Yeah.
Right. Talking to the big builders about how they can sell more homes.
Of course.
I don't know. I mean, that's part of it. But what about the people who are qualifying people for mortgages?
Yeah.
Like I can tell you what the math is on how that's going to work. And again, $24,000 is $24,000.
Yeah.
That's fine on a whatever. I think that was the one I just did recently. But that doesn't move a lot from a mortgage standpoint.
No.
So the affordability part isn't changing a whole heck of a lot.
Not at all.
On that.
That's actually kind of interesting. I know that they're also, it helps, I guess when they did that to help builders, it does help obviously people with jobs like in the construction field, right? Because
sure.
I do know a lot of guys that work in construction, working for builders, whether it's painters, drywallers, carpenters, you name it. A lot of people, lost income, right? When builders stop building or selling because they're not building as much. So I know it does help some of the local economy job-wise if they're helping the builders. But I do 100%. I think there's way more people who own the homes already that need help than the builders that are, for buyers that are going out to buy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I thought it was helpful to get things moving a little bit for builders and, people in construction and whatnot. But how about the rest of the guys? What they haven't held anything. So comes up to my next topic, actually. Yesterday, the Bank of Canada, for the 5th time in a row, they held the interest rate for 2.25%.
Yeah.
everyone, I know myself, I was anxious, I was excited. I know the market is dead. Like the market for, resale right now, not dead. Luckily, Ottawa is, we'll touch base about Ottawa market comparison to everybody else in Canada, but it's very stale. Like there's not a lot of movement. So we were anticipating something. The government's in a technical recession, right? Or Canada's technical recession. Unemployment did okay, but we think it's seasonal. But we were really hoping for something to help push the market this summer, just because we didn't really see a spring market. So, what do you think is going on with the Bank of Canada? Why aren't they helping the resale market? When do you think and the second question to that, when do you think there might be something coming in the line for maybe, a reduction in rates to help buyers and help other people kind of make a move?
Well, I think, so the interesting part there too is I think we have to understand, there's a massive misconception about those announcements yesterday. And it's the same, and I talk about it all the time, but it's the fact that the Bank of Canada's decision yesterday it affects things, but it doesn't affect anything. The fix, when they are talking about their overnight rate, that it only affects variable rate mortgages.
100%.
Right? Directly. Yeah. Indirectly, a whole bunch of stuff happens. But directly, that only does that. So if you're someone who's out there looking, saying, I can't wait till the Bank of Canada lowers their interest rate, that doesn't necessarily mean, one, your fixed rate that you want is going to move. Okay. And the other thing too is that if you're in a fixed rate, nothing's moving anyway.
It doesn't even affect you.
It doesn't even affect you. So from that standpoint, people tend to gravitate towards this is going to be a big shift because something's going to happen. Yeah. There's 1,000 other things going on in the world that will affect us 10 times more than what Tiff Macklin says. On June 10th. 100%. So grasping at that, I think that's a false. I don't know if it's a false sense of hope.
But let me pause you there though. Because I 100% agree with you. And that's true. It doesn't affect fixed rates or other. But from my experience in the market right now, is that any good news article affects the mentality of sellers and buyers. So whether it doesn't affect them financially, it does push buyers or potential buyers. Or potential investors or potential sellers to sell and upgrade. So it changes, I feel like, the sentiment and the thought process of people just getting some good news. Even though it's not directly affecting them. Yes. Do you know what I mean?
No, and I think that's the thing. I don't want to use the word propaganda. Because that's too aggressive. It's not it. But it's
borderline.
Well, it's true because you can. It's going to change people's thoughts. Exactly. It's going to change people's mindset on what they want to do. Yeah. And I'm not a good guy it's not that I'm not a good guy to talk about it.
He's a great guy. He is a good guy. All right.
It's just the fact that I'm so entrenched in just the numbers. Where I'm like, don't listen to that necessarily. Just look at your numbers. Work out your numbers. And if you're comfortable with your numbers, you are ready to go. You don't need them to tell you that now it's okay. And everybody else is going to be okay. It's just, if you know your numbers, you will be fine. And this is not rocket science, right? Working with the right person, you can do this very quickly. But when you know that, you don't need someone else's confidence to go out and do this.
100%.
Right?
Look, that's 100% true because your numbers are personal to your situation. Right, and you know what's best for you, and you know what's best for your clients because that's your numbers guy. You're helping them out, but obviously people are very news focused, and that's why I say the news does push things, and whether it's from the Ottawa Real Estate Board that are giving their monthly news stuff, or from the government, or from the Bank of Canada, or local news, or even from your neighbor, right? He doesn't even own a home. He's renting and he's giving you advice, and oh man, you're anything that you hear is gonna impact you one way or another. And because we've seen so many here, mostly negative right now, that's why I personally feel it. Whenever there's some kind of big news article come out or new announcement, the HST rebate or a reduction in rates or a stay of the rate, I'm getting calls and saying, hey, Seren, what did you make of this? What do you think of this? And then, I say, well, what's going on with you? Let me see how it's going to impact you, or hey, that means nothing. You know what I mean? Let's kind of move forward. You know what I mean?
It's something I bring up to when I talk to first time buyers a lot. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell them after we're pre-approval and they're ready to they're fired up, they're going to check stuff out. Mm-hmm. All the time, the kind of like the leaving saying I give them is like, look, everybody and their dog is gonna smell that you're buying a house. Yeah. Like people just like, you walk by, they're like, what rate did you get? Like they just know for some reason. We just know. And one thing I tell them is like, everybody's going to want to help you because they want to help you. It's not vindictive. They want to help you. They want to share their experience. Yeah. It's a big deal. They want to help you.
Of course.
But so take what they say, listen to it, park it, and then call me.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what you actually have to worry about.
You'll actually break it down.
So it's good that people are helping, but there's so much information.
Yeah.
And there's so much old information and constant changing information.
Yeah.
You would kill yourself trying to just disseminate all that yourself.
Yeah.
So put it out towards somebody else.
Yep.
Like those people who are like, Soren, what do you think? Take that phone call. Make that phone call.
Yeah.
Because that's the question you want to ask.
Yeah.
Because if you sit there and just try to make your own assumptions and make your own decisions, and I mean you have to. So it's not the right verbiage, but
no, I see what you mean. Like,
if you think you
talk
know,
to someone. Yeah.
If you think you know just because you listen a lot, you're probably not. You probably don't.
That's actually really good advice. I always tell clients like, look, I'm an open book. Yeah. Right. Because honestly, a lot of people, they rely on us to really make some of the most important financial decisions in their life. Right? And I always say, guys, there's no stupid question. Because if I always put myself in their shoes and how I'd want to be treated and say, I want to know this, I want to know this, I want to know that. What if I do this? What if I don't do this? And I'll give you as much information as I can so you can make a really, really good informative decision, right? So were you in real estate? Were you already in real estate when you bought your first house? I was.
Okay. So I wasn't in mortgages when I bought my first house.
Okay.
And to this day, I could reverse engineer it and probably tell you how I got approved. But at the time, zero idea. Like, like my buddy and I were buying a house together because we both just kind of, we had both just kind of moved out of somewhere else. He's like, I got to buy a house. I'm like, well, I'd like to buy a house. He's like, well, let's buy a house. So, and like we walked into the bank and I didn't know I had a variable rate.
Yeah.
No idea I had a variable rate. Apparently I did.
You had no idea?
I had no idea. and like I had no clue how it worked. Nothing. We got zero explanation.
Wow.
Right? And they're just like, here's your mortgage, make sure you pay it on time. I'm like, okay.
You know what?
That was it. And I'm like, from that, but when I got into mortgages, I'm like, I can't have that.
Yeah.
I can't have someone leaving my office or talking to me going, that's the way I felt.
Yep.
So that's the huge change.
I like that. Questions. I like that because you went from your own experience of not knowing and getting into something, really not knowing what you're getting into, and making sure that your clients don't do the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's been when I look back on it, 100%. I'm like, that's the thing we don't do. We don't do that.
Well, what do you tell people right now that are coming to you to? Obviously, okay, well, let's get into one topic here, I guess, is the mortgage renewal wall. Dun, 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 dun. Is the biggest mortgage renewal, and it's not as bad as everyone thinks, right? We had, we did have the, what is this test there when you're getting stress test, sorry, which kind of, I think they were planning this or they knew this was coming, but a lot of people had to go through a stress test to be able to qualify for a mortgage, knowing that the rates are going to go higher.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a lot of people ready for this refinance, right? But still, it's still a extra sum of money that you're going to have to start paying for your mortgage or qualify to get, right?
Yeah.
On the new refinance. Plus all the other additional costs on food, on gas, on insurance, on everything's gone up. So if you add in extra cost for everything, plus now an extra $300 to $500 or $700 on your mortgage. What are the discussions you're having with people? Because there's probably a lot of people right now that are going to be refinancing now over the next, I know I am myself, I'm going to be refinancing in August. I'm waiting. The bank sent our letter. He's like, hey, do you want to, you want to pick one of these? And I said, no. We got a couple of announcements for the Bank of Canada coming before I have to decide. I'm going to wait it out and see if there's something better come out, and I'll negotiate, and then I'll negotiate with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what do you like? What's the discussions right now with people? Are they worried? Are they like, oh shit, Kyle, like what do we do here? Do you see anybody maybe saying, I don't want to renew, maybe I want to offload and rent? Like what are you seeing?
I think, well, the numbers are on my book of business. I'm seeing the average client's payment jumping from between $300 and $600 a month. So like, and that's just because they're coming at a 1% to 2%, and now we're coming into 4 to 4.5.
Yeah.
So it's an average of $300 to $600 that they're going to eat right away.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest conversation is just the reality check of what you're not going to get going forward. And this is just fact.
Yeah.
You're not getting a lower payment with a lower interest rate while keeping your amortization the same. Just mathematically, it's not going to happen. So you have to eat that. Right
Speaking
away.
of that, though, are some people increasing their amortization because of the increased cost? Is that something they could do with the renewal, or?
Oh yeah, that's probably the biggest realization that people are coming to, because I'm telling them that is the interest rate will not save you.
Okay.
Like, as much as people want to say, I need a low rate. If you need a low rate because you think the payment's gonna save you, I'm just gonna tell you now, you are wrong. Like, you're just wrong. And I'm not saying we want a high interest rate.
Yeah.
It's just, if that's the reason, you have to look at it differently.
Okay.
So the way you're going to win this, unfortunately, is you either have to make a massive lump sum payment to just bring the money down,
the total principal
down,
Yeah.
or you're going to push your mortgage back 2, 3, 5 years, and you're going to get back that $100 to $300 or $250, whatever it is in your situation.
Quick question, though. Let's say they're doing that, and they don't want the increase in $300 to $600 in rate, in payments, and they're increasing their amortization period 2 to 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, what does that add to their total interest paid, though? Because that might be significantly more than the extra, $300 to $500 a month.
People are we're at the point as people and homeowners, you have to decide what your pain point is. You have to decide what your pain point is. What pisses you off more? $300 to $600?
Yeah.
Or potentially owning your house owning that mortgage for 4 or 5 more years.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting away with nothing.
Yeah.
You have to decide what is going to annoy you the most, right? So, and that's what I mean. You're not going to get the same payment while still reducing the interest and a better rate. That's not happening. You're going to have to pick something. The word of the day, quite honestly, is compromise.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
It's a hard compromise, because really there's no good news.
Well, there's no good news.
Financially.
Yeah. Other than the fact that I think we have to wrap our heads around that paying off houses is probably going to take a little longer.
Yeah.
And we have to get more financially savvy, and have to get more strategic with how we're doing things. Because you push your mortgage back 5 years, right? It's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars more in the long run.
Yeah.
But you're going to survive quite well today.
Okay.
So there's that. And when those big expenses, right? You start thinking ahead. When the car is paid off, when the kids are out of the house, when daycare stops, right? Does your budget change? No, it gets reallocated. So the car payment goes back to the mortgage.
Yep.
You start catching up.
Yep.
The daycare payment gets reallocated.
You put it somewhere else.
Right? Maybe you're someone who invests harder to get bigger returns, to dump it down on the mortgage later. Like we just can't be sitting here saying the only way I'm paying off my mortgage is if my rate's 1%.
Yeah.
Because that's just not the way it's going to work.
That was a very short period it's not realistic, I don't think, going forward.
It's dangerous. If we go back there, let's be serious. If we go back to a place where we have 1% to 2% interest rates, just be aware, there's bigger shit going on around there that could affect you way worse.
Yep, 100%.
Right? In Ottawa, it might be a little bit different.
Yep.
Right? Because how well we survived through COVID, and it was just kind of a blip, and how we survived after 08.
And even right now.
And now too.
Right? Comparison to the rest of Canada, or especially GTA, we're holding strong. Like we're holding.
So for people who are wishing and I can't wait to see this crash and rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
I just hope you're the person who's on the right side of that.
Yeah.
Because you could be wishing for your own demise.
Yep.
So I'm hoping we're all just kind of playing fair.
So
you know what I mean?
I really like this advice, Kyle, because it's hard truth, but it's super honest, guys, because those rates were not realistic. Those were kind of once in a lifetime, kind of like COVID market. Right? Where in 1 year, property's gone up 40%. Guys, that's an anomaly, right? Same with those super low rates at 0% or the bank rate, but
0.99.
0.99. Yeah, I've seen some people with some, man, that's wild.
It was a wild time.
Well, and let me ask you, right now, if you lost your job or you have zero income, right? And your mortgage renewal's up, they're not asking anything. You can sign and get a renewal without even having any income. No income in the house.
Yep.
The bank will ask no questions. Is that something concerning? Is that normal? Has that happened before when you're renewing, you can just renew without any questions whatsoever?
Oh yeah.
I feel that's normal.
That's at least for my career.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Now there's always rumblings, there's always whispers of the banks in the background, right? Checking some stuff out. So your rate may not be that competitive, and they may be, taking advantage, a little predatory in some cases.
Yeah, but, they are. They're definitely higher.
Some of them are, for sure. But that's the thing. And that's where the good conversation is, because we're getting people who, I get clients or people who call, and they're like, I want to refinance, like things are tight and yada yada. And then when we start talking about employment, and I'm like, you can't. Like your option is just renew and go take care of your stuff. Yeah. Like go get work and go do the thing.
And figure out how to continue paying this mortgage kind of thing, right?
Do that. Right? You're not in the position to negotiate, and a lot of people get into the mindset of like, well, don't worry, I'm gonna, right? I'm gonna get more work. I'm gonna do that. The banks don't deal in I'm gonna.
Yeah.
At all.
No,
it's you are reduced to a number. You are reduced. This is a what have you done for me lately business.
Yeah.
And lately you're not working, then lately you're in trouble. That's the way it comes across.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Well, at least for those people, because I know people, obviously, the private sector has been, cutting jobs like crazy, right? If you're a small business, medium business, even the big guys.
Yeah.
I know even the hospital, I couldn't believe it. The hospital is cutting jobs. What kind of world are we in where the hospital is cutting jobs? It's not like there's less sick people.
Yeah.
If not more. I couldn't believe it. I was astonished. I actually was mad. Honestly, I'm serious. I understand the government may have to cut jobs, which they did. They cut 15% of the workforce. A lot of people are getting letters. They're lucky because they're getting a package or something. They get some support. But if you're in the private sector, a lot of people are getting nothing or minimum, or other sectors. So I guess with those people, you're lucky. Right? You can renew your mortgage, and hopefully you have a supplementary income, some part-time jobs, some side jobs that you're going to kind of go on to continue having your house. But imagine some of those people, like they want to try to take out their equity to help them out in their current financial situation. They can't, because they can't refinance.
And I think, again, this is where
how can they tap into their equity? They can't.
Well, yeah, there's typically going to be some ways to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But again, it's like
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Well, it doesn't mean it's a good idea.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
it just means you can't.
but when you're in the shitter and you want options, sometimes even if it's not the best option, but it's going to help you out of this situation, right? Like some people are taking it. Like,
Yeah.
Can you tell us some examples?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like that's where there's that's where you start getting into the secondary market, right? You start getting into the secondary market, meaning alternative lenders, more so the private lenders.
Yeah.
Right. As long as the value's high and the relative mortgage is low.
Yeah.
There's sometimes they'll do things with minimal documentation.
Okay.
Right. And there's definitely going to be people out there who are like, that's a terrible idea. That stuff's not cheap, right?
Yeah.
This is 2.5 times the going rate for mortgages. So if you're paying 4%, you probably pay 8 to 10.
And you pay fees, upfront
and then
fees.
you got fees on top of that, right? And you're putting your house on the line.
Yeah.
Like, that's not bullshit. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, but the one thing too, though, is that if you're working with the right people, the lender being one of them, if you're working with the right lender, you're working with the right broker, one of the questions they ask is, how are we getting our money back and how is this person paying us?
Yeah.
Right? So you may just be buying yourself runway to sell.
Yeah.
You may be buying yourself runway to find a new job. But again, it's a step back, but you keep the house.
Yeah.
And my big thing these days too is if we can keep the asset, that's probably better than selling and trying to get back in.
True.
Because that's tough enough.
Yep.
So if we can find a way to keep it, and if there's an exit strategy that goes with it, then sure, it's a step back. But when things settle down, and they always do, we're in a part of the cycle.
Yep.
You have to ride out the cycle.
And guys, it is a cycle, right?
It is a cycle.
Look, things always get better. And the market will never always be rising like through the stars forever and ever. It's just, that's not how economies work. Look, I'm not an economist, but I do follow the market a lot because I love what I do. I got to give advice. I got to work with investors, sellers, and myself included. The economies are up and down and up. So there will be a better time, a better future, right? Where things will get better. But we're not there now. And I don't think it's going to come. Honestly, I think it's going to be slow for a little while, as long as we have a lot of wars, a lot of uncertainties. People are worried, whether it's about war, whether it's about prices for gas and food and their job, or you name it, right? So whenever you have all these different worries going on in people's minds, people are going to be almost like a shock and don't want to move or don't want to do anything, right? But I do know things will get better, guys. Economies always improve, and whether it's not right now, I think it could be 2 years from now or 2.5. I do think we're going to have a kind of stale market for the next little while, which is, if we're steady for the next little bit, guys, that's not a bad thing.
So talk to me about that, because like I see it from a different side.
Yeah.
So, and when you hear stuff like it's going to be dead, it's going to be flat, my consumer brain goes to, nobody's buying and selling. Like nothing? Like what does that mean when you're saying that?
Well, look, the people that I am seeing buying and selling right now is people that are upgrading.
Okay.
So they're seeing the potential to finally get that bigger home at a price that makes sense for them. So sometimes they're seeing it, okay, I might sell my current condo or condo townhome or small place at a not as good profit as I'd hope, right? But they're still making money on their house, and they're taking advantage of being able to save 50 or 80 or 100 grand based on a single home, or a bigger town or a bigger semi. So majority of our clients that we work with are people upgrading. And then the next level of people that I'm seeing is investors, because I work heavily with investors. So obviously, if you're an investor and you have money right now to spend, it's like blood in the water right now, right? They're seeing blood. They're out there. They're trying to they're going to see which ones they could get for the cheapest price. They're seeing a lot of bank-owned properties on the market. So they're trying to, okay, well, these guys are really low price. I'm going to try to get this even lower. So investors are seeing blood, and they're out there right now trying to find amazing deals. And there is some really, really good deals out there because we're seeing people that bought, for example, I have clients right now. They bought in 2021 for $650 a townhome in Canada. And right now, we're seeing, we're listed at $600. So if you think about it, they're going to pay commission, they're going to pay closing costs, penalties on their mortgage, carrying costs, right? That's a significant hit. I have another place, especially in the rurals. These people bought in November of 2023. It's like a 4-year-old detached home. They bought it for $923,000. Okay, it's on the market right now for $799.
When did they buy it? How many years ago?
November 2023. So
still post-COVID too.
Yeah, post-COVID, and it's listed for $799, and it's not selling.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing price for that home. Like, it's a 3,000 square foot home, right? So, anyway, so for the people who do have the income and are seeing the potential to upgrade, those are the guys that are really moving. We have like maybe a tiny bit of small first-time home buyers that are coming out.
Yeah.
Because, they've been waiting, and now it's the time. They're seeing, okay, well, is it going to go lower and lower and lower? Maybe it'll continue to lower a bit, but they're seeing now is the good time. It's in my range. I got the home I want for a decent price. So we have a trickle of those guys coming.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, don't, if you're waiting for the market to go back up before buying, maybe that's not the best move, because then you're competing with more people, right? And the prices will get higher at that point. So you might be paying more. So if you have been on the sideline, this could be a decent market in Ottawa to buy, because, man, you could get really good deals and really good prices, and get in the market with rates that are pretty decent at the moment too.
These are average rates. If you look back through time, these are average rates, and it's the math. If you stop worrying about the feeling of, I'm going to wait until this thing happens, or I feel like this, I should wait.
Yep.
Just do the math. If the math works for you today, you'll be fine.
Yep.
The right time to buy is when the math says the right time to buy is.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's it. So do that. And the other thing that I'm noticing too, which is interesting when you talk about investors, is there's smarter people out there than you and I.
Yeah.
That follow along these markets.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, right, like there's products there's new products that are coming out.
Yeah. And
products that are out that are designed for the market.
Yeah.
So two of them, for example, I had lunch with a guy today. From he's from an insurance company, but we have to offer insurance.
Of course.
And they're slated to launch a job loss insurance product.
I heard about this.
Which is phenomenal for that, because that's to know that you are not going to lose your home, and because you have job loss insurance.
Yep.
That is going to be offered with pretty much every single mortgage.
Wow.
Like it's huge. It also means that they're seeing something that's worth doing.
Yeah.
Right. But then there's the other thing too, is something as simple as the 90% refi for putting in a basement suite. So most people probably don't know, if you want to refinance your house, you can't refinance past 80% of the value. Okay. So that's where there's always going to be 20% of the equity left in your property.
Has to stay in the home.
Has to stay in the home.
Yep.
Except if you are refinancing to put a basement suite in your house.
Yep.
And make it a secondary unit, they will allow you to go back to 90%. So you're pulling out the extra money to put in this income suite in the basement.
Yeah.
And they're allowing you to go past the 80% mark.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal, because they'll also give you the value of adding that suite. So you add a suite, you're taking your value to a different place.
100%.
And they'll give you the credit for that. You don't even have to have it rented. We can do market rents, which says basement suite in this area.
Rents about
for
this.
like about this.
Yep.
You can use that to add to your income to help it make sense
Yep.
and make it work. And this is fully legit. So for the people if you are trying to get in,
Yep.
there are opportunities out there for this.
I like that. That's actually cool. I didn't know that they're doing with the basement suites up to 90%.
Yep.
And now the cost of basement suites is not cheap because
No.
some of them, could cost 100, 120 grand. I specialize in transforming. Actually, I own a few of them.
Yeah.
So I transform, bungalows into 2 suites. But the new rule now, as you probably know, almost any home can be allowed to be transformed into 4 suites now. So you could take any property, guys, and turn it into 4 individual units. So a lot of clients of mine, they're buying a bungalow that has either enough room inside or they have a detached garage that's big enough. So, for example, my client right now, we bought a bungalow. He did a 4-bed, 2-bath on the top level. He did a 4-bed, 2-bath in the basement, and then a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in the garage that's detached. So it could be awesome if you're looking to maybe create more income for yourself to help pay your mortgage. If you want to have your own individual space, but have additional family of yours move in with you, so they have their own space, you have your own. We're seeing a lot more of these come to fruition because we're actually seeing a lot more families have to live together because of costs, right? You might have your in-laws move in. You might have your brother and his wife move in. You name it. We're seeing more and more of this become a common trend. That rule is actually really cool. I actually love that you could, take these big homes now and transform them into multiple suites. And that's one rule that I think that the government or, City of Ottawa, and I think it's Ontario-wide, did, which is really, really cool. Well, it does give an opportunity for people, homeowners and investors.
Well, and I think too, again, along the vein of what I said before, where it's like, you want to keep the asset. Mm-hmm. If you can, you want to keep the asset. Yeah. Because we want to ride this out. And we're at that point where, like, my generation, right? Our parents are not needing that house. Yeah. Like, they don't need that. And when it's tough to sell, or, I would want to buy my parents' place, for example, because I'm like, it's just a great asset to have. Of course. But it's now worth over $1 million. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't just have that kind of money laying around. Yeah. Right. So it's being it's finding the creative ways to do that. Like, there's gifted equity, and then there's different programs to get the renovations done. Like,
there's gifted equity?
Oh yeah, Well,
can you tell us about that? Because I know most people, a lot of people our age, right, and similar age, are coming to a time where they are getting property from parents. Yep. How does that work? Can you give us a little rundown? Like, I've never heard of that.
So mom and dad have a place that's worth $1 million, and you want to buy it.
$1 million.
Somebody out there is going to pull a mini-me joke on me, and that's going to be, someone better comment that. But anyway, so mom and dad have a place worth $1 million, and let's just pretend there's no mortgage on it to keep it simple. Yeah. And they want to sell it to you. So maybe they don't need the $1 million of cash that they would get, right? But they do need some money. Yep. So what you apply for the mortgage, and we say, okay, we can get you a mortgage you qualify for $800,000, right? Keep it simple. Yep. Qualify for $800,000 on this property, but you need to have $200,000 down. And then you're like, well, I don't have $200,000. Yeah. But because you're buying it from your parents, they literally write a gift letter that we have, like a templated gift letter. It says, I'm gifting this equity as down payment to my child. Wow. Okay. And then the bank's like, okay, great. That's the down payment. And you qualify for $800,000. So here's $800,000, which goes to mom and dad. So mom and dad are foregoing that $200,000, right? Yeah. But you are keeping the asset. Yeah. Right?
I didn't know that they could gift the equity. That's really interesting. Is that specific lenders or?
No, it's pretty, I don't know anybody openly doesn't do it.
Okay.
I don't think anybody runs around, not very many run around like saying, we do this.
Yeah.
But we know it happens and we know it's okay. And so there'll be a couple that won't, but I mean, the big six should.
Yeah.
And a bunch of the non-bank lenders will as well. The A guys too, like
100%.
Yeah. So it's a great program if it can work.
Yep.
Right. And I think, and that's the thing, I think we're at that time too where families have to start having those discussions about, you know, like, if you're going to get the money anyway.
Yeah.
If you're going to get the money anyway, you're just going to get it 15 or 20 years from now when we unfortunately pass away.
Yeah.
You could really use that help today.
Yeah.
So how do we make that shift today? Keep everybody whole, keep everybody happy.
Keep everyone together.
Yeah. And there's ways to do it, but it's a conversation that has to happen.
Yeah.
Well,
and the sooner that you have the conversation, the more options you probably have, the more, because you could kind of get creative
sure.
and try to figure out different ways. And I want to ask you something. What are the biggest mistakes that you're seeing out there from, you know, people right now, whether it's sellers, buyers, like, because we know there's people, whenever you're under stress,
Mm-hmm.
people make bad decisions, and it's unfortunate. And what are you seeing out there, and what advice would you give people right now in regards to that, not to make that mistake, I guess, or whatever that may be?
I think there's 2 or 3 things.
Yeah.
One of them is get real comfortable with the numbers, right? Like, and I've already repeated myself 3 times in this hour, but you have to get out of the way of your feelings. Like, get out of your own way and just look at the numbers, understand the numbers. And people are saying, I don't like numbers. Fine, I'll do them. You can look at them, and then there you go. Like, now we're a team. So that's okay. I'll do the numbers. You look at them. You make your decision, and that'll be fine. Yeah. Because the numbers tell the story. Yeah. It'll tell you right away whether or not you can or cannot do this. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And it's simple like that. And if you make it, and there's always going to be emotion, but if you can limit the emotion involved in that decision because you have the data in front of you, you're probably going to make a better decision.
There's a saying, okay? There's a saying, and I live by this, okay? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
There you go. Sure.
Right? That's perfect. Yeah, I think Jay-Z said it once at an award ceremony way back, like 2009. I don't know, but it's the truth, right? The news articles are news articles. Look at the numbers. And if it financially makes sense and the numbers add up and there's always a number, it has to equal something. Yep. So, but is there something that you're seeing as a common mistake in people that are stuck right now? That is something we discussed earlier. Yeah. So, and I think there's something people need to hear this, because to avoid this mistake, it's very important right now not to do this, right? Yeah. So I think the other big mistake, and I don't want to call it a mistake because it can work just fine. It could. But it has to be a plan. Yeah. And that's the people who are buying first and then selling. You guys have to be very, very careful. And you need to have a numbers talk about the backup plan. Like, what happens if this house doesn't sell? And no offense to the realtor sitting beside me. But if the only thought is it'll be fine, don't worry, I get it, and confidence is confidence, but what if it's not? Because I've got no less than 4 clients who are in that position, and we see that clicking down on the times. No. So you got to be careful with that. But what are you like? But I wouldn't do it. I tell people, don't do. You better not. Like, it's too risky. This is not the market to buy and then try to sell. I advise highly against it. So there's a risk on both sides, because if you buy first and then you try to sell, obviously you could end up owning 2 homes, which is hard. Well, look, if you're financially able to do it, you want to take that risk, okay, but I'm highly against it, because it's way too risky in today's market. We analyze what's happening now. I'll look at, okay, what is that current home that we're trying to sell? What's, potentially could happen, in regards to how long it might take to sell. Or if we price it really competitively, then it might sell faster, but you're losing out on this potential money. And you know what fixes that?
If you knew the numbers, you'd be okay with that.
Exactly. Well,
how low do you need to sell it for? Where's your break even? Where's your drop dead point?
Yep.
If you don't know that number, that's a tough game to play.
Yeah.
Right? What's the equity? Can we do something creative?
Yep.
Right? If we really get stuck? Again, numbers tell that story.
And first refusal offers, meaning you can make an offer on somewhere, on the property, conditional on the sale of your house. And trust me, in today's market, sellers will accept a first refusal offer. Well, they're everywhere.
I think I got 3 or 4 of them on the go.
We had a couple weeks ago. We were doing it, and last month I think we had like 3 or 4. Yeah. It's the only way to buy right now to protect yourself. And I'm telling you, sellers will be happy they're getting an offer. Whether it's a first refusal offer with all these conditions or not, they're just happy you're in there and bringing them an offer. And usually first refusal offers, you got to give them a really good price, right? Or pretty competitive, good price to what they're asking, because you're also asking them to wait for you, right? But not in today's market. You can still have some negotiation room, even with a first refusal offer. Depending, of course, of that property. If it's priced really well, maybe they're getting a bunch of showings in action, they might not be as willing. But if they have no offers ever, and they just have action, they might like actually take it, right? Couple more questions, because I know we're getting we could go on forever, man. I haven't even gone on the second. I have the pages. I'm still on the first page, but a couple things. So inventory is at the highest we've seen in 10 years right now. We're almost at 5,000 listings. They call it a balanced market. It is balanced in regards to number of listings, if you think it that way. But if the buyer activity is super low, it's not very balanced. I don't feel, anyways, because things are staying on the market. People have to reduce to be able to try to be competitive and sell. What do you think is going to take? Do you think if the rates do go lower, let's say July announcement, I think it's July 15th is the next one, and then they skip August and the next one after is September. Well, what do you think is going to happen at the July announcement? Do you think there might be some relief, some kind of, something going on if the war stops, obviously in Iran, and the uncertainties kind of go away? Will that spruce up the market even then? Or are people where that won't make enough of a tick for the market to go crazy? Or it'll just help bring in some buyers back to kind of help levitate some of the inventory, but not really increase prices?
I think we're back to what we said at the start. If anything, it's a mental shift. That's it. Like typically with rate hikes and rate drops, right? They go up like this, and they come down in steps. Yeah. And we're seeing that happen. We're seeing that happen in the short term, right? Hey, you get emails from the lenders. Hey, we're bumping our rates 10 points tonight. Yeah. And then 4 or 5 days later, a week later, because the guy down south sneezed wrong, right? Or all of a sudden there's something new happening overseas somewhere. Yeah. Okay, now they're coming back down a little bit. Yeah. So and we know that there's more room because of what we see. Like we know there's some banks out there that are just giving away the farm because they want market share. Yeah. It doesn't mean it's a good idea. There's some long-term implications with that for clients that they don't see in terms of ridiculous penalty calculations that are going to come up. Right, that they don't see that, but it is what it is, and so we know there's room, but the lenders are staying kind of stagnant. Yeah. Until they So I'm just not in the prediction game. Yeah. I'm really not. My full opinion is just like I care. I just don't care. Yeah. Like if it moves, it moves. We adjust. Yeah. And if you want to protect yourself, then let's do an application and get a rate hold, and it'll hold for 4 to 6 months, depending on where we put it.
That's a good idea.
And then just buy it out.
And that's actually a really good point. And we highly encourage it right now, just because of all the fluctuations in rates right now. That maybe it's a good idea to do some kind of rate hold, whether it's going up or down. At least you have some stability.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. And this is coming from a guy, even though I've done this for so long. Yeah. I was never a rate hold person.
Okay.
Yeah, it annoys me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass, right? Because lenders are squirrely, and it always happens on Friday night at 5 o'clock with a long weekend. You're sitting here trying to jam everybody's rate goals in.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to feel bad for me because I'm working on Friday night. It's just because it's silly. But there's no denying. There is no denying. It's an important piece of the plan.
Yep.
Now, it used to not. There's times when it didn't need to be.
Yeah.
I honestly think now it is.
Now it's more crucial than ever to kind of get some kind of rate.
In a lot of my career, yeah, probably. It's probably the time I thought about it the most.
Yeah. Okay.
Quite honestly, like just because there was always somebody else that had a lower rate and it was fine. You can move it here and you can do the thing.
Yeah.
Now you can't. Like,
no, you heard it here, guys. Call Kyle, get a rate hold. I'm serious, because if you're shopping, it's a great thing to do. Just want a quick rave about you and your service, man. Anyone that we kind of sent over to you, whether they work with you or not, or just talk to you, they always have great things to say about his knowledge, his customer service. So, use whoever you want in regards to mortgages, guys. But we highly recommend you, man. I think you're a great dude, and most importantly, you're super honest, and that's the most I can ask for anyone to do for my clients, is be super honest and give them the best kind of service and honest advice as possible. And so for that, we really appreciate it. I do have 2 points left that I really want to touch on. Okay? Number one is private lenders and private mortgages.
Yep.
And it's huge right now, right? The private mortgage industry exploded, especially over maybe 10 years, 15 years, I don't know, but I've really been noticing it over the last 5 years. I've seen some people go get private mortgage against their equity, right? To buy a car, to buy a cottage, to pay off this. I even see people do it for boot jobs and stuff. Yeah, I'm serious, but I'm really against it, and the reason is they're really hard to get out of. They're interest only. That's just my opinion, how I feel about it. They're super high rates, interest only, and once you're in there, you have that interest only mortgage, that super high rate, plus a regular mortgage, right? It's the last resort. My suggestion is do not go with private mortgages, just because they're really, really hard to get out of. Unless you have a super amazing plan that, okay, I have this cottage selling in 3 months that'll pay off all this, whatever. Other than that, don't do it, is my suggestion. I don't know, how do you feel? What do you see? I know, look, my advice and how I feel about it, what do you think?
I don't agree.
Okay, hey, and this is what we're here for.
This is so. It's so repetitive. It's look at the numbers, right? Like, and you make a good point, but again, contextually, let's look at it. Someone says, you say, don't get a private mortgage, like it's interest only. It's high.
Only if you really have a plan.
Sure.
Okay.
What's your credit card rate at?
Yeah, I don't know. 14, yeah.
But that's it, right? If again.
But credit card is not interest only.
Well, it's almost interest only.
Well, if you're paying minimums, yes.
So again, it's who's doing this? Who is doing this? What's the situation? Why is it there?
Yeah.
Those are all the things that have to be brought up versus a blanket of just privates are bad. Don't get me wrong, there is a ton of private lenders out there and shitty mortgage brokers and shitty lawyers who are predatory. Like the things I've seen come across my desk, like, who let you do this?
Yeah.
How is this even allowed?
Yeah.
Like 100% there is that.
I've seen some really bad ones.
Oh,
and it's honestly really
scary.
It's disheartening to see, because some of these people are stuck, man. Like really, really stuck. I have to help some people fast, just so they can get rid of it.
100%.
And they even had people knock on their door. Hey, where's the money? Where's the payment? And soon enough, they take over the house and sell it. And it's bad. It's not. That's why maybe from what I'm seeing and my experiences with some people, it sucks.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. Like there's 100%. There's 100% those.
Yeah.
And those are terrible. And
Yeah.
those shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But they happen, right? And then, but again, there has to be more discussion, and you hopefully are working with someone who is explaining this
Yeah.
to you and how it's supposed to work and why this is the solution.
Yeah.
And the lender too. The lenders typically want private lenders get their money off the fees and the interest, but they have a finite amount. So they have to churn it. It has to move.
Well, because their money is coming from people investing.
Yeah,
right?
so they have to move. They have to move it. So if there's no exit plan ever, right? None. Then you're going to be trapped, and eventually it's going to run out.
Yeah.
So if there's no discussion of what the exit strategy truly is, then you're just sitting there on hope, and that's not a good idea.
Well, that's the problem. Is I don't feel that these private lenders give a shit about what your exit strategy is.
Well,
Most of them don't.
Again,
All they have, your exit strategy, from what I've seen, is your equity in your home. You have enough equity, we'll make the deal happen. They have a job, we'll get paid, blah, 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 but majority is like, hey, is there equity? Do they qualify for the private loan? Do it. And then we'll hope that the person's, as long as they're paying, they'll figure out later. And look, that's just from what I see. But I'm happy to hear that you disagree, because there is good ones out there that some private lender could help people in a really tough situation, right?
Oh,
right.
The private lenders, the people who are, for example, the people who are buying, who bought first, trying to sell, haven't sold. The people that will help them get out of that will be a private lender. The banks aren't touching that. You're not going to Scotia and getting a deal like that done. You're going to a private to get that.
Is bridge loan private money?
Can be. It can be.
Okay.
Right? The other thing on bridge loans too, because I know there's someone out there yelling it right now. They're like, "Oh, Kyle, just get a bridge loan." Like, why do you don't even know what you're doing as a job? You can't get a bridge loan unless you have a sale on your home.
Okay.
So people who are like, no, I'll just sell it later. Exactly. Yeah. I'll just sell it later. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No, that's not how this works. So that's a huge misconception.
Well, you know, with so many more deals falling apart, do you feel that, follow up to this one, do you feel that the bridge loan companies might be a little worried because of what, more and more properties are not closing at closing time? Like we're seeing a little more not close?
Well, they could. They could.
But you haven't seen any change or uptick of that? Okay.
Well, I mean, they won't do a bridge if there's not a sale. So if there's not another firm sale.
Yeah.
So that could fall apart, I guess, too. Yeah. But that's why they believe in the equity, right?
Yeah.
And they believe in the equity, and that's what's gonna keep them afloat.
Last question. We'll have to do this again because, man, there's so much more to talk about. But one more
4 pages at least.
Yeah. You're a man of info, man, and I really wanted to get as much as we can to honestly give value to people that are going through these situations. And guys, whether you work with me or not, or work with Kyle, we're here at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. now on our own time, trying to give value to help people, honestly. We know there's people in sticky situations. And hopefully we're here just giving you good advice that you can make good decisions with, and I'll help you out. But this is the one more thing I'm a little worried about, is 60% of all new builds, okay, that were built are all rentals, right? Because of the MLI program with CMI, is it MLI with CMHC, right? Which is, their program is crazy. And they have to change it because so many people took advantage of it. So basically what it is, if you're building, I think isn't it 5 and up units, you could qualify with CMHC after your build. So you can refinance up to 90 or 95% of the value, and they'll give you, so you get majority of your construction money back, and then they'll give you a 50-year amortization, making a really good rate, right? You have to pay insurance premium, but amazing rate and a 50-year amortization period. So you can cash flow really well, right? I know even investors that were never built before jumped into this program and started building. I've never seen so many people build rentals and jump into that program that I've ever seen before. And that's just from what I see in Ottawa with my own clients. So 60% of new builds are going to be, so how many rentals are coming to the market, right? And I think that might help with the gap of less buyers and going into renting. But what do you think that's going to do to the, potentially to the market? Or I have some of my own ideas, but I think that this is crazy. That 60% of all new builds are going to be rentals, apartments.
I think we want to drill down more about what those are.
I think a lot of them will be empty. I think those are going to be a good amount.
Well, I think there might have to be, because again, thinking of the GTA, right? Mm-hmm. All those condos and everything, those are all, as a very well-known mortgage broker on the internet says, they're dog crate condos.
Yeah.
But we just spent a decade bringing in immigration of families, not individuals.
Yeah, I know.
Families.
Yeah.
Right? 4+ typically. So those families who are here and integrated now and doing
they're not fitting in those.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, we're not solving any problems.
Well, I know there's some rule changes from what I've heard that they're gonna, or maybe not for sure. I've heard in the grapevine that they're pushing for bigger units, right?
Yeah.
For developers to start or offering better incentives for bigger units, like 2-3 bedroom apartments. Because you have to. We need to fit families in these apartment rentals.
Yeah.
Right? If it's a 1-bedroom rental, and I'm seeing studios, 1-bedroom or junior 1-bedrooms, which is not even a full 1-bedroom. Right? Have you heard those?
Oh.
Yeah. There's studio, then there's junior 1-bedroom, then there's an actual 1-bedroom.
So we're just gonna go into these buildings and we're gonna rent 3 apartments at the end of the hall.
Oh.
Okay, Mom and Dad will have one.
Yeah.
Junior will go there.
Yeah.
She will go there. So yeah, that's it. That's funny.
Yeah. So anyways, it's gonna be crazy to see the influx of these guys, all these rentals come to the market and how it impacts, because it will have an impact. Crazy amount of apartment purpose-built rental buildings are coming out over the next little while. And we do have a lot of people needing places to live. But again, I think some of them are too small, and it might be way too many. And it might affect, I think it's going to affect the rental prices, because these guys will need to be competitive, and they can be, because their amortization period is their payments are so low on these buildings.
At 50-year
They're going to be able to be competitive on their rentals.
At 50-year end, you're essentially interest only.
Yeah. So imagine their payments are super low. They're going to be able to offer really competitive rental prices, which I think will bring overall the rental prices down a little bit, which they've already been going down a bit, because there is a lot more rentals as well. Anyways, guys, we're gonna probably end it here. My man, God, you've been freaking amazing, super professional, and just full of info, man. So I really appreciate your time, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this is Kyle Miller. If you want to reach out to him, what's your phone number? You want to give it to them?
Do we have the link, or we'll just give it to him?
Well, this is live. I'll put it after, but give it to him now, and I'll put it after too.
Yeah, 613-863-1979, and then you definitely find me on social. Kyle Miller Mortgages. That's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and I'm going to be putting his link in all the videos too. Again, we highly suggest him, because again, he's honest, very informative, and has amazing experience. And that's the best thing that you could want from any professional that you're working with. But always get different quotes, check your own, do your own due diligence, guys. Protect yourself. My name is Sarim Maduba from the Ottawa Home Group. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful night. Take it easy. Ciao.